What kind of film is RJ Barrett going to watch with his coaches after his summer league performances? If anybody would know, it's probably me, as I spent 4 years as a head video coordinator for the Washington Wizards and made a number of these edits for summer league guys, such as Bradley Beal, Otto Porter, Kelly Oubre, all the young guys we had in DC. Let's take a look at some clips of RJ Barrett from his game against Phoenix. Make sure, please, you hit that subscribe button, thumb up button when the video is done. If you enjoyed it, leave me a comment. Make sure you follow on Twitter at ScoutWithBryan. Let's dive into the film, RJ Barrett, Summer League against Phoenix. First of all, first thing that really stands out about RJ, something I also pointed out in his draft edit, his wiggle, and I know that's not an exact NBA term and it's not something you could put an exact definition on, sometimes leaves a little bit to be desired. In a situation like this, when you catch the ball on this little split hop in transition, I'd like to see him, first of all, with his defender this far off him, catch the ball, hold it in triple threat a little bit longer, make his defender come out and play him, and then read his feet. Instead, you see RJ kind of go right to that split hop and then kind of put the ball down right away, so he's already wasted his dribble. He's already lost the advantage of being in this triple threat right here. The ball's down. Now he's just reading his man's feet. And then to that effect, like I said, he doesn't do a great job just reading his man's feet. I'd like to see right here a hard right-to-left crossover dribble to try to get by him right here and into this gap that you see here. Instead, he kind of wastes that crossover dribble with this lazy between-the-legs move. Then he ends up going to what he does a lot, which is a lot of these kind of back down spins, just sort of a slow-pace game. He really likes that spin moves, really likes probing with his back to the basket. I'd like to see him become more efficient, attacking again off the dribble. You see a similar situation here. Again, the split in transition, not really being played all the way out there. Not a big-time shooter, so they're not really respecting him deep behind the line. So again, I'd like to see him hold the ball a little bit longer, make his defender come out and play him. And again, once he puts it down, you see how, again, he kind of just has his mind made up. You hear people talk about, I heard coaches and scouts say that RJ looks like he's kind of predetermining his moves in Summer League and not really reading the defense. I see a little bit of that too. Here he kind of just decides, okay, I'm going right, but doesn't really read that his defender obviously got there, cut off the right, ends up putting his shoulder down, picking up the offensive foul. Situation like this, it's a little thing, little intricacy, but I'd like to see when Brazdeikis attacks baseline here, yes, his man goes to help, but I'd like to see you keeping the floor space in the corner. Because when his man goes to help and you end up cutting, he's able to stay right here and end up guarding you anyway. If he had stayed in the corner here when Brazdeikis ends up penetrating like this, if he sees that this man's sucked in, what he might be able to do right away is have one defender guarding RJ and the shooter right here, and Brazdeikis might find RJ right away for a corner three. Instead, by cutting, he kind of takes away that advantage. Now everybody's squared up guarding their man. Speaking of Brazdeikis, I really like his game. We'll get to him more a little bit later, but then once again, talk about predetermining. I'd like to see him attack the front foot right here, maybe with a hard left jab step, and then bring the ball over, rip through to his right, get in this gap right here. There's a lot of traffic over here already. You see three defenders basically down on this left side right away, but he's still going to go and attack that left to begin with, where again he's kind of driving into a crowd. But again, he does like that spin. Like I said, that time he does a better job playing with a good pace, reading the angle, and attacking. This pace, not as good. We see a hit ahead in transition here. It was a quick play. Ends up catching the ball, 22 on the shot clock. His defender's trailing him by a long shot. So if you're going to put it down right away, you've got to be able to put it down, one hard dribble with your right, and get to the basket. Instead, you see him kind of, again, he's not very comfortable going to his right. I talked about it a lot in his draft edit as well. But if you're going to go right like this, okay, you want to go to the Euro step, do it. He kind of just goes in there tentative, the right dribble, ends up kind of getting just caught on this awkward in-between step, rises up, easy block for the defender. What he can do here to be better, again, wait for this defender to close out. Once he's scrambling at him in a closeout, he's going to easily get by this guy. Instead, he ends up driving right into where the defender's closing out short to him, and he's able to get in the way. Wait for your defender. Once you've done that, once you put the ball down and are past him, read the defense. You might have this dump off to the rim. You might have Knox shooting. Instead, he kind of just goes in there with his head down, Again, easy to block. Now his handle, does some good things handling the ball. I've talked about that being one of his better skill sets. Something he needs to work on, though. I learned from Chris Paul, from watching him play and watching also how he talks about playing in the pick and roll. Big thing for him is always setting up opposite. So if this screen is coming for RJ to go right to his right hand, keep the ball in your left hand as long as possible. By doing that, you're making the defender play you straight up. You see when RJ has the ball in his right hand here, the defender is really able to get up and into him and anticipate that screen to the right. Even if the defender knows you're going to go to that screen to the right, by keeping the ball in your left as long as possible, you're setting up the potential to reject it. With the ball in your left hand, he's got to play you a little more straight up, because otherwise you can drive into this gap right here. RJ, you see him coming down with the ball in his right hand already. He's going to kind of telegraph the pick and roll, which allows the defender to stay into him as much as possible, end up reading, screen that high up. Okay, I can go underneath. And then RJ's going to end up dribbling the ball with his right hand right into this gap right here, where the defender's going to be in there, doing a good job being in the gap and swiping at the ball. Instead, I prefer, like I said, once again, left-hand dribble, bring it down. Left-hand dribble, stay low, bring the ball down a little bit lower so the screen's not as high up. Crossover right at the point of the screen to your right hand. Then you might have a shot if the defender goes under like this. And if he does and you don't want to shoot it, okay, now I'm going to cross it right back to my left and rescreen and come off again to go this way on the pick and roll. Can't go blind into those gaps. NBA defender is going to take those away. Same thing here. You see him bringing it down again, dribbling to his right hand. Defender knows. He's already pointing out, screen coming, I know what I'm doing. Keep the ball in your left, especially as a dominant left-hand player. Bring the ball down with your left hand. Bring the ball down a little bit lower. We want these screens kind of free throw line extended right here. This line right here. We don't want them all the way up here. Once again, ends up being predictable, keeping it in his right hand, allows him to be guarded pretty easily. A lot of guys in this gap here. And then the tunnel vision, again, a predetermining. Is this the worst shot in the world? No. But you look at it, wide open, wide open, wide open, kick the ball out, trust your teammates. Does make some good reads, though, like I said. Does a pretty good job recognizing when he has two on the ball. Like here in this pick and roll, two on the ball, hit the big rolling, extra pass, gets him a hockey assist. Good recognition there. You see him chase down the rebound here. Knicks are playing him, obviously, a lot of that point guard, point forward spot. Really like the paint touch here. This is a Kyle Lowry special. Talk about the importance, especially in the playoffs, of paint touches. RJ's a guy who can put pressure on the defense. By doing this, he gets two guys on the ball, which is going to create a closeout to Brazdeikis. Not his man guarding him. Somebody else is going to have to run at him on the closeout. Ends up being behind him, getting him to the free throw line. That's created by RJ getting the ball down the court early, touching the paint. You see again here, he does a pretty poor job on the pick and roll. Ball's in his right hand, a little bit longer, which I do like. But you see again, he's just kind of upright, doesn't get in a low base where he can cross over right to left, right at the point of the screen and come off shoulder to shoulder. Instead, by being this upright, that crossover is pretty easy to guard. Everybody's able to still guard their man. This pick and roll does a better job. Again, like I said, does a good job recognizing. Two on the ball right here. It's going to rise up. Reed, the help's a little bit late coming in. Going to find the roll man. Get fouled, going to the basket. Good read there, good pass. Handling the pressure in transition, does a pretty good job here. But then again, not so good here. Like I talked about, you see how upright he's playing. This is basically straight upright. Lower man wins. Talk about that a lot. Look at the defender in a good stance right here. RJ's got to be low. Got to bring the ball down a little lower first. Like I said, set up opposite. Bring the ball down with your right hand. Low in a stance. Bring it down here. Not all the way up here. This is easy to guard. Because then again, all right, ball's in his right hand. Crossover, but the defender's able to easily slide underneath this screen all the way out there. Not a good setup. Brazdeikis, like I said, this guy can play. Knicks fans should be excited about him. Got a little Jerebko quality to his game, just able to find a way to score. This one, little thing, but this is an easy pass. Can't afford this in the NBA. You got him running to the rim. You got a 2-on-1, 3-on-1, whatever it is, wide open. Throw the ball up to him. You got a layup. I don't know why you try to make this bounce pass right down the middle. That's not open. You see it again here. You got to find a way to get off this pick and roll. Ball's in his right hand this time. Like I said, set up opposite. I like that. Now the problem is his right hand's not very good. With the defender forcing him away from the screen like this, he should be able to get into this gap, make something happen. You see, he pretty much only takes one dribble towards the gap, gets rid of the ball, which leads to a really contested deep three. That's not a good shot creator. You've got to find a way, if you're going to go right, get into this gap a little bit more, force the help to come in more. That's just one light dribble towards the gap, which doesn't really make this defender move. If you don't want to go towards that gap, if you don't want to go to your right hand, fine. Bring the ball down a little bit lower like you did here, fine. But then twist it back, right to left crossover, come off this pick and roll, and make something happen. Don't let the defense dictate where they're sending you. He's forcing you away from the screen to your weak hand, but the big man's not even down there to protect. Anybody else in the NBA, James Harden, you're able to get into this gap right here and attack, get all the way to the basket, keep this defender on your hip. That's not putting pressure on the defense right there. I like this read out of the pick and roll. Slightly better job here. Again, when he has two on the ball like he does here, that's when he does a good job. Reading, corner guy comes in to tag the roller. Good kick-out pass, long closeouts, what you want in the NBA. Let Iggy attack it. Great read on that pass. This is probably his best pick and roll of the game. You see, this one was perfect. Set up opposite, right hand, as long as possible. Right when the screen's there, that's when you cross over, right to left. Good job coming off, basically shoulder to shoulder, nice and tight. Defender's back, good read, good rise up, good follow through, great shot. Speaking of shots, I'm not tripping over the missed shots. Little thing though you do pick up, a lot of RJ's misses, if you go back and look through this game, were short. My philosophy, coach's philosophy is that I witnessed a lot of good shooting coaches. You never want to be short. Long's okay, side's not ideal, anything but short. Short means tired, not enough lift, not enough arc. Get the ball up and over, up and out on the follow through, get it up. He was routinely short on a lot of his spot-up threes, something to work on. Now, reading plays. Knicks run a lot of these double staggered screens. For RJ, for Brazdeikis, you'll see the difference between how RJ reads it, how Brazdeikis reads it. RJ's pretty easy to guard. What you want to do right here, first of all, if your man's going to cheat the screen like this, set up opposite. Again, similar concept to a pick and roll. Fake down towards the basket. Fake the back cut. Get yourself down lower. Plant yourself. Make him guard you down here. He's not guarding this. He's cheating the play. RJ lets him get away with that by just kind of lollygagging, walking off this first screen. Instead, he should be, again, faking towards the basket. You might have that back cut right away. Then if you don't, your man's got to guard you down here, and then you come off the screen. This is easy to guard, this first screen. The read on the second, his man tries to shoot the gap. So the bump fade is the right read. That I like. Ends up maybe a foot further behind the line than I'd like, but that's okay. The shot's all right. I'm okay with the shot. But again, you see it's short. Up and out on the follow through. Got to get a little more force under that with his core. Another one here on this double stagger. This one does a little better job waiting a little bit longer for the screen, staying in the deep corner. But he doesn't exactly explode off the screen. Just kind of runs off lightly. Everything in the NBA, you got to explode off this stagger. And then once he gets here and catches, again, predetermining. Catch the ball right here, hold it for a second. Read. Are they switching? Is the big man on me now? Or by holding it and catching it, are they going to end up having two guys on me? And if Mitchell dives, is this corner going to be open or is Mitchell going to be open at the rim? Instead, he just kind of goes in blind, makes his mind up. I'm going to put the ball down, go with the big right away. Ends up floating up kind of a ridiculous shot, pass. I don't know what that was. Look at the difference, Brazdeikis here. Like I said, look how well he sets this up all the way down here. RJ, remember, was up here. Brazdeikis really sets it up low. Hard jab step, hard plant to the baseline with his foot. Then we're going to explode off, nice and tight. Look at the explosion. Sprint off the screen. Tight curl, shoulder to shoulder. Now he's going to hold it right here. Like I said, hold it and read it. How's the defense playing me? The big's going to drop back. My man caught up to me. That's fine. But now I'm just going to read it, get into the gap a little bit, use my size, get to the basket. Great read. Talked about that right hand a lot. Not really comfortable driving to his right. Here he's got the whole right side on this baseline drive. Got to find a way to be more comfortable putting the ball in his right hand, getting his footwork right so he can explode up and finish this. This has got to be a score at the next level. Watch Brasdeikis here. Same clip, basically. Finds that right-hand gap. Explodes up and finishes. Brasdeikis, a lefty kind of that plays righty, or a righty that plays lefty, whatever he actually is. But he does a great job, again, getting into the gap here. Exploding off 2 feet, getting to the basket. RJ's got to be more comfortable going to his right. Here we saw that attack to his right hand again from earlier, where he got rejected. That part we talked about already. This part isn't okay, though. Everything in the NBA's got to be a full sprint back on defense. That's not a full sprint. That's kind of lackadaisical jog. Jogging, jogging, jogging. What's that going to create? Well, if you had been in a full sprint from the start, you'd be about even here. This guy, this guy, this guy right here. You're not in a full sprint. So what's going to happen is Kevin Knox is going to have to rotate up to this guy. He's going to leave the corner open, which is going to cause a lot of rotations. Now we're looking like fake hustle. Looks like we're here in the right place, but really that three was created by your lack of sprinting back. Can't have it in the NBA. Good recognition here to switch on the pick and roll. Good job digging at the post, getting a hand in there. On the kick out, good job recovering to a contest. That's a good possession. Here, end of the game, tie game. 10 seconds left, one-on-one, straight up, guard your man. Gets beat a little bit, but good recovery for the block. This one I like a lot. Obviously, 3-on-1, 4-on-1, anything in transition. The rule is keep backing up, make them make the pass as late as possible. He does a great job continuing to back up here, contesting at the rim, and then good instincts to swipe down at the ball there from the big. Get a big steal. Like the pressure he can put on the ball. Once he's engaged on defense, when he really puts pressure on the ball, that's when he's at his best. Good job getting up into his man. Does his job perfectly on that possession. This one, not so good. We talk about coaches want to influence the ball baseline, but not give baseline. It's a tough distinction. It's hard to do it perfectly. But you see RJ's stance kind of just open up too much right here. This stance is kind of wide open to the baseline, which allows him to get attacked with almost no resistance. That's too easy. And then here, this one you kind of have to go back to watch the film with the audio on to hear. But to me, I didn't hear, at least watching on TV, I didn't hear an ice call here. RJ, you see him jump into an ice, which is sending the ball baseline before the big even called it, which means the big's not down there in the ice stance, ready to guard the ball. Since the big isn't there, RJ's got to wait for the call. You don't do this until the big calls it. It's the big's responsibility to call out pick and roll coverage. RJ jumps in it too early, just going to let him get beat and allow the defender to find an open corner three. A few things he's got to get better on, a few things he did pretty well. Thanks for watching the RJ Barrett Summer League Film Study. Second part of this, I'm going to go through another game. That's going to be available for patrons only. I'm going to put the Patreon link right here. If you subscribe as low as $1 a month, you'll be able to see that full film study for the next Knicks game. I'll do as well. This one was free. Make sure you thumb up, hit that subscribe button. Thanks very much for watching. But again, please support on Patreon. Even $1 a month is going to help me be able to get a new microphone, start a podcast, a few of the other things you guys have asked for. Appreciate you watching. Talk soon.